again, Jim Dowson here, your guest presenter with the Templar Daily Report. How are yous all? Now, we're supposed to have Mr. Griffin on today, but he's using some laptop that once belonged to Noah, so he couldn't get on. He needs to go and get himself a webcam. Yeah. Yeah, it's a laptop that used to actually belong to Mr. Bukovitz, our Texan friend. But yes, he's off now to go and get himself a webcam, and hopefully we can join him tomorrow. So, big disappointment, everybody, I know. You're stuck with me, and I'm really sorry. But we've got some good stuff today. Well, we're even going to be talking about Mahatma Gandhi. Oh, yes. So we'll go through that. But first I want to start these off with a wee bit of Ephesians, starting going where I was yesterday in chapter 1. I'll just go back one line so and get the rest of it in context. So Ephesians 1, starting from verse 5. Having predestined us unto the adoption of children by Jesus Christ to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will, God's will. To the praise of the glory of his grace, wherein he hath made us accepted in the beloved, in whom we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins, according to the riches of his grace, wherein he hath abounded towards us in all wisdom and prudence. Amen. And may God bless the public reading of this, the Lord's holy, infallible, and inerrant word of God, and inspired. So, we never apologise. People say, why do you always, a lot of English folks say, we should knock all that religious stuff in the head. We'll never knock in the head. Knock yourself in the head and get off the channel. We don't want you in here if you're some kind of pagan or heathen. You're not welcome. There you go. I'm not into this tolerance. I have no tolerance at all. So, YouTube is experiencing issues. The techie guy's telling us. If you are having any issues, refresh the page or video, okay? Refresh the page or video. Okay. Okay. Where are we? You disabled, what's that?
That's somebody talking about...
You disabled direct message on your shared server. I don't know what that means. Jim Young, I don't know. Don't know what it means.
Can't in the Discord, you can't be delivered because you can't share the server with the recipient.
Don't know.
Oh, if he's trying to share the Discord, it's disabled for security reasons. It has to be approved. You have to get a link.
You have to get a link and be approved for security reasons. Okay, fire us up the top, see who's in the room. And a nice conversation I had with Mr. Poteet earlier on, good brother Poteet, and some other folk, and a good bit of light shed on the shenanigans of the NRA these days. The NRA are not what the ones were, my friends, so be very careful with the NRA. I think, like all things, people start to crumble when they're put under intense pressure. Hope that's not the case long term. So we should all pray for the leadership of the NRA that we get their act together. And that's it. And also, would you all join with me in giving a good sound round of applause to Natasha and Scott for taking up roles as moderator on the Discord? Well done, folks. And get them Satanists out of there. Yes, good on yous. So Jim Young, he's in central New York. How you doing? Natasha McLean's in the room. How you doing, Natasha? Ralph Roll, thank you, God bless you, from Germany. Oh yes, the Germans. What happened to the Germans? What happened to these? You need to get back on the ball again, boys. Les Androkovich, good man yourself from Canada. Lady Rotha, nice to see Lady Rotha in the room. Alex Catterall, Dace Joint, he's on the Gaelic now. Mochara, yourself. Yes, what have we got? Benjamin K, excellent. Deuce Vault, William Petit, God bless you in West Virginia and your good lady. Christopher Strid, how you doing? Antonio Rebello, how you doing? John Andrews, nice to see you. Malcolm Cook, God bless you. Built 18, how you doing? Jonathan Boudin, God bless you, brother. And I know you just put an order in there for some. We'll get that sorted out for you. Good. It was a helmet. Jonathan, these are really heavy helmets. These are really heavy. They're not for playing about with. A lot of lappers have to give us them back because they're too heavy for them. But regards to your good lady. Paul Telford, my good friend, a.k.a. The Strangler. God bless you. Burt Myers, nice to see you. Frank Bukovic, nice to see you. He's in Alabama. Give my regards to our good friend Johnson there. Gary Hardwick, how you doing? Nice to see you in Virginia. Scott Rash, yep, up the belt yourself. Scott, thanks very much for that conversation we had yesterday. Robert Erickson, how you doing? Tampa, Florida. Naomi Ford, hello Naomi, you're more than welcome. EMS Rejuvenation, God bless you in Texas. Who have we got? Troy Otto, how you doing? John Van Aitken, good man himself. And Michael B, how you doing? Nice to see you. Who else have we got here? Scorpion, nice to see a Scorpion in the room. I like that. Dan Guerra, good man. William Mumford, brilliant. Big Frank's there. Frank Boogie's always there. Good, solid man. Michael McGuffin, how you doing, brother? Neville Walker, nice to see you, Neville. James Williams, he's in Kentucky. Good old Kentucky. I like Kentucky. I like Kentucky people. John Wilmot and Sean McAllen, how you doing, my Irish friend? Yep, Greg Howarth, he's there as gay. How we going? Who we got there? Joseph Brooks, how you doing? Welsh Patriot, Welsh folk are welcome in here. Just keep the livestock under lock and key. I'm only kidding. Couldn't resist it. Because they say that about us Scots, you know, but we say it about you Welsh. So, Andy, how you doing? God bless you. You're having a beautiful day down where you are in the south of England. It's pouring the rain. Visibility's down to 100 yards. We've all had our headlights on for 5 days. We can't see a thing. It's freezing. But there we go. And TT Foley, how you doing? Brian Payton, how you doing? Florida. Yeah, Jane, how you doing? Geminis Fortunis, how are you? TT Foley, he says there he's a techie as well. Keep a note of his name. We're always looking techies.
Jim and a techie.
Oh, hello Andy. I thought you were saying you were a techie. Oh dear goodness. This poor man's demented. James Ralph, how you doing? Nice to see you. Steve Trussell, my goodness, there's a lot. Timothy Koss. Stuart Bowden. Joseph Taylor, how you doing, Joseph? Nice to see you. He's a good man, Joseph Taylor. Stuart Duncan in Aberdeenshire. Oh yes, beware of the Aberdonian.
Are they not under lockdown now?
Aye, Aberdeen's under lockdown now, I hear tell. You under lockdown, my friend? Mr. Duncan. And Colton Straits there. Bartley Burker's there. Yes, they're all the gangs. Gary Hardwick, how you doing? Who else we? See the radio author. Nick's there. How you doing, Nick? Get a webcam. Hurry up. They're about 25 quid on Amazon, man. Miss Farty Go, how you doing? All the people. Elliot Lamb, hello, how you doing? Know me before to see a Heinrich Johansson and Tube, some or other. What is it? Tubes for Life or something? Very good. Now they're saying the sound's very low. It's fixed now. Karen and Sharon, how you doing? How many's in this room today? It's ridiculous. Loads in it. Because they thought Nick was on and they were left with me. False advertising, how you doing? Sean Ahern, oh the big McConnell, the big Donegal man's in. How you doing, my Irish friend? Oh, he's a mad Fenian, him, you know, but he's all right. He's a good fella. I'd rather have a good mad Catholic Fenian than one of these red LGBT supporters any day of the week. There you go. Stuart Duncan. Oh dear me, there's some of the folk in here, isn't there? It's crazy. I seen something shotgun. How you doing? Nice to see you. Soap or something or other. Dissident Celt. Good to see the Dissident Celt. Right, I need to get into this. We're going to be running out of time here. There's so many folk in. If I've missed anybody, please forgive me. But Clinton Dixon, one of our main men. Right, okay, I need to crack on here because that's took a wild time. There's so many people coming in here, isn't there? It's unbelievable. But because you all thought you were coming here to hear and watch Nick Griffin. Oh, that's how you are. But you come in and it's only me. I'll teach you. But you're born tomorrow if he gets his webcam. Like the video, click subscribe, press the bell, comment below, and please, you know the drill. You have to share. We need you to share to get the word out because things are getting mad now. We've got the troops in the streets of Australia enforcing masks wearing. It's ridiculous. We've brung out masks now. Let's just be very clear. We don't believe in the whole COVID fraud. But we have brought out masks, and I'll tell you why. Some people are really mad and saying, I'll never wear a mask. Why are you bringing out masks? What are you doing? Look, you pick your battles wisely. There's no point in anybody going to jail because they won't wear a mask. You understand? It's silly. There's a big, serious battle coming soon. Maybe with lead flying. We want to be here when that happens. We don't want to be our best people being in jail because they won't wear a wretched mask. Going to Walmart. But with the masks we're bringing out, I've got messages on like COVID-19, 1984 or COVID gets stuffed. Oh, we've got our own Templar ones here, which are very exclusive. It's a neck gaiter, so you can put it around your neck, and then when you need to, you can pull it up. And remember with these, you can pull them right up, you know what I'm saying? If you need to. So they're there. They're a bit pricey, I think, but it is what it is. They're drop ship. We're not actually handling these. They're going straight, somebody bump straight into you. So,
Audio will sync 2 seconds. Just check here. Somebody just said the audio was inserted. No picture. YouTube's having a lot.
YouTube's having issues. It might not be us. That's strange. A lot of folk are having trouble with us.
Just check.
Let's just check it.
Getting tired of having to reload the stream.
Yeah, that's no good. You don't want to be doing that all the time.
What they can do is, no, we're not on ultra low latency. So
No, it's strange.
let me just check YouTube.
We'll just have a wee look at it. We'll just have a wee look at it. Techie guys having a wee look at it, so bear with us. So that's why we've brought out different masks, and because you got to pick your battles wisely. And the reality is, shops are not going to let you in shortly if you don't wear a mask. The local authorities are going to punish them, so they won't allow you in. You're going to get very, very fed up of being refused shop entry, and it's just going to take your whole day up. And is it worth it? It's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. It's just who needs it? Comply, but defy. So wear the mask, but with a message on it, so everybody else can see we're doing this, but we're doing it under protest because we just can't be bothered with your nonsense, and we've got other more important things to do. So that's what we're doing. Okay.
Yeah, I think YouTube
Keeps buffering on TV, fine on phone. There you go.
Yeah, I think YouTube is it's the storm. William, where is that storm?
Where is the storm? Yeah, something's interfering with something. It's not us this time. It's some external thing. Scott Rash is on a mobile. Don't know. We'll wait and see. Anyway, I'll persevere with this and see what we can do. Well, there's a wee bit of story there that I can maybe leave that to tomorrow. Los Angeles District Attorney's husband has been charged, believe this, charged with pulling a gun on BLM protesters. Crazy. But let me tell you the details of this. The husband of the Los Angeles District Attorney has been charged with pointing a gun at Black Lives Matter members who demonstrated outside the couple's home the day before the primary elections in March. The Attorney General filed 3 misdemeanor charges Monday against David Lacey for assault with a firearm. Unbelievable. This all happened in March the 2nd, seemingly. It's absolutely crazy, yeah.
That's the day.
Yeah, it's mad. Authorities say Lacey, 66, pointed a gun at demonstrators who protested outside the couple's home before dawn on March the 2nd and said, "I will shoot you." Well, listen, if you're lying in your bed before dawn and there's a big angry mob outside your house you don't know anything about, you can imagine the reaction. But he never shot anybody. He never shot anybody. He just pointed a gun and said, "Stay away from me and I'll shoot you. Come in here and I'll shoot you," which the man's entitled to do. District Attorney Jackie Lacey offered a tearful apology at the time, saying she and her husband were awoken by the protest and were frightened. I'm damn sure she was frightened.
There's that big hurricane.
Yeah. There's a big hurricane seemingly doing damage in America, so that's what's causing the problems here. Yeah. Yeah. It's, I think everybody in Britain's here. It's the Yanks that's getting a lot of hassle. Sorry, my American friends, but you all have these mad hurricanes going through the place. But because Nick's not on today, I had some stories here, but I want to bring to your attention something. I mentioned it last month, and I want to just elaborate on it. But we're still not embarked on it yet, so I just want to put these in the frame for it, okay? So you understand. In the Irish Priory where I work out, sometimes I'm in the Serbian Priory or whatever, but a lot of the time, especially the last few months, as you know, I've been stuck here. It's a very old building. The building goes back, the actual building we're in right now goes back to 1610. However, the stones in the building go back much further, and we have a place just out the window, I'm looking at it now. Out the back, there's double-storey stables, which once time was used as a prayer house, but it's been a stables for several, maybe 200 or 300 years. But the whole place is made out of stones that were taken from the local castle. But the castle stones were taken from the old Cistercian monastery that was built at the exact same time when the Templars were formed, but 20 years of a difference. And when King Henry VIII, that big fat English fella, when he dissolved the monasteries, the Cistercian monastery was put into ruins. It was one of the largest in Ireland, and very famous, very austere, very serious, very hard line. And the stones were robbed from there to build the castle, and then the castle didn't, when it fell into disrepair, they were robbed for there to this building here, and several other buildings. So we have got a stable block, old prayer house out the back, which is beautiful. beautiful fashioned stones that came from the Cistercian monastery of the 12th century, built round about the same time as the Templars, and there's no doubt that Templars would have been in that building. So we have this place out there, but it's never been touched for maybe 100 years. It's not been touched. The stables are still in it for the horses and everything. It's a time capsule. It's incredible. So we are embarking on a programme of restoring it back to a prayer house. We're going to put it to be the private chapel of this Irish priory. So that will be the official chapel of the Irish priory, and it's going to be dedicated to the memory of St. Mohee. St. Mohee has one of the oldest monastery sites in the world, just along the road here. So anybody can over to visitors can see the connection with St. Mohee, who was a convert of St. Patrick, and the stones are all still standing there. The old chapel's still there. The old graves of the monks who were killed by the Vikings in the 9th century are still there. It's in the middle of a loch. It's just one of the most beautiful places in God's earth. In fact, I'll see if our techie brother can maybe get an aerial view of, what do you call that island? What's it called? Some island. Mahee Island. Yeah. Or Nendrum. Anyway, let me just tell you what we're trying to do with this. So it will be dedicated to St. Mohee, but it will be the chapel of the Holy Martyrs. And what we plan to do with this, and pay attention, people who are Templars, is when you die, and I know a lot of people get cremated nowadays. I don't like it, right? But that's up to you. So people who get cremated, we will supply the most beautiful, I'll show you them maybe tomorrow, the most beautiful solid oak boxes with the Holy Cross on it and all the rest of it. If you're a Roman Catholic, it'll be a crucifix. The ashes can be put in it. We've got a special deal with UPS because nobody will touch human remains apart from them. And your ashes can be sent to the chapel to repose there forever in the chapel. There's a daily service on the chapel. People are praying there every single day. And this is what it's in line with. This is Mahee Island and the ancient church. Is the old church there? There's a picture of the old Mahee Island church, no?
No, I can get one.
Yep, I'll show you that. So it's one of the most beautiful places in God's earth, and it's just a couple of miles up the road. But this chapel's out the back. If you are buried in America or Canada or somewhere else, you can still have your family after your death send us a letter, a notification, and we will engrave a special plaque that will go inside the chapel, so you'll be remembered there, but only if you're a full Knights Templar gentleman or a dame. We have a few, but not many. But so you'll be in there and remembered in perpetua. So that will be a very interesting thing. There's going to be a very simple altar in there, and that's it. Your name will live for however long the chapel of the Holy Martyrs stands. But it'll be a wonderful thing because at some point in the future we're going to put some rooms in this priory building so people can come and visit from different countries and stay here and make use of the chapel. At the side of the chapel we've also got another old building that we're going to convert into a new film room and a new admin office, so we can use some of the admin offices in the main body of the priory for accommodation, and Templars can come and stay, and I think that'll be, and stay for free, obviously. So that'll be wonderful. So we're going to start the project. Now, converting the chapel and the other wee room, we're doing all the work ourselves. People have very kindly volunteered to do the work. But even at that, the materials and all the rest of it are going to be considerable. Now, we're putting 2 stained glass windows in the chapel. Our brother will bring them up for you. We've already got the windows actually made. We've got the frameworks made and everything done. So these are going in. But they're going in, the stained glass windows there. They're going in, but they'll be about 3 foot apart. The 2 nights will be 3 foot apart. So can you see them? And roughly the inside's going to look like, what are they looking at, brother? Are they looking at this double picture? Yeah, okay. So the chapel on the right is not our chapel, but that's roughly what it's going to look like when we finish with it. It's stone walls, it's very old. The stones are 1,000 years old. And the chapel itself is very, very old. So the stained glass is going in on one side of the building. Those 2 pictures will be about 3 foot apart. It's a Templar and a Hospitaller, which basically the Templars sort of morphed into after the persecution. So the 2 stained glass windows will be in, and above the door we're going to have a stained glass window of the Madonna and Child. It's going to look like that. This one, show them the outside, but it's going to roughly look like this. It already almost looks like this, apart from the arched windows, which we're going to be putting in. We're to make the windows so we can fit the holes in the wall to match. So it's all going to look like this. Yeah, it's all going to It's all going to look like that, and it's going to be very beautiful, very, very beautiful. And especially, you know, we're all getting older, and me personally, the thought that there'll be a plaque in there after my demise, I don't know, it just comforts me a wee bit, and I think it's a good thing. And to think there'll be, you know, every single day there'll be activity in there, and prayers being offered up every day in there on the altar. The altar will be there, and we'll be in there together, all of us, in some way or another, whether it's a plaque or whether it's your actual ashes, your mortal remains, makes no difference, but we'll all be there. Yeah. That's an interesting point. Somebody's asked me, can my dad, who's a Templar, bring his wife, who wasn't, when she's passed on? Yeah, ashes. I don't know. I'd have to consult because I'm not the final authority in this. But me personally, if it's ashes, are we talking about ashes here? I personally don't see a problem. I don't know what the brothers feel about it. I don't know what the Council of Nine will think. I never thought about that. We never thought about that. We can certainly make inquiries and see if that would be okay, but I don't know. I don't see any problems there. I don't really know. But it's just going to be completely, as you Americans say, it's going to be an awesome. It's going to be awesome. And there'll be Templar chants going on there every single day. Every single day. Yeah?
It's Neville's wife.
Ah, right, okay. Yeah. Well, we'll look into it. But the altar's going to be very simple. It's going to have a very plain brass cross about 2 feet tall, and 2 brass candlesticks either side, and the candles will be lit every single morning, and they will burn all day. And there's going to be a red light from the ceiling that will be on 24/7, round the clock, every day, 365, forever. And then we can free up some space in here. So, get to the bottom line, because there's all money in it, but we're not asking for any money now because we haven't actually got the full estimate and budget from the architect gentleman. But it's going to cost approximately, with us doing the work, actually doing the work, where that time's going to come from I don't know, but I've been told you're helping out with the work, so that's it then. I'm going to have to just invent another 3 hours every day. But the cost is going to be approximately 50,000. However, the good news is other priories have already pledged 20,000. We've already had 20,000 pledged to us for it, which is excellent. So we need to find 30 approximately. But we're thinking about working out some kind of scheme where people can pay, because obviously the space is very limited, so maybe put a deal that, so we're just not just asking people for donations, because we're always asking for something, but rather than just ask you, give us money to do this, no, do a scheme where if you give us money, that money then ensures you a place in the chapel after you depart this scene of time and enter eternity, and hopefully enter glory with the Lord. So we don't know yet, but we're looking at something like, the price we had in mind is about $1,500. However, if you're a full member and you're a full member and you've bought something like a sword or a pulpit Bible, we'll half that. So we're looking approximately, if you're a full member, you've bought a sword or a Bible, because they're big money items, so it shows your commitment, you've spent a lot of money, we'll half the fee to $750, something like that. I don't know. I'm asking you for your opinions, for you to give us feedback and tell us what you think of that. So I'll leave it with you for a few days, but I really want you to get back and tell us, is it too much? Is it too little? Is it a great? Do you think it's a good idea? I mean, there's no doubt it's a great idea, and it's fantastic. If you've seen this beautiful building, the brother's going to film it this week and show you a film of the actual building. It's like a time capsule, and I think those stones were in one of Ireland's most famous Cistercian hardline monasteries at the same time as the Templars were being formed in France. And Templars have got an association of, been in and out that place. And now we have these stones in an old prayer house that we're going to turn into a chapel of the Holy Martyrs, and you could reside in there, your mortal remains forever. I think it's a wonderful thing, and it's certainly given me great comfort, and I've got great fervour for it. I just don't know where I'm going to find the time to help out in this work, but I've been told to do it, so I will do it. So pray for me as well. But there you go. I would really, really love to get your feedback on this and see what you think yourself. I think we showed the brothers and sisters all the photos. Have we showed them that wee chapel? Yeah. That wee one outside. Have we got anything else to show them? Any other kind of pictures? The stained glass, we've got that. Aye, that one there. Have we showed them that?
Yeah.
Nah, right, because it'll look like that kind of thing inside. I don't know if we showed them that one with the candles, did we? I might not have been looking at it. Where is it? Yeah, that one.
I'll show it again.
Yeah, I'll show it again then, just in case. So there you go. So it'll look like this. It'll look very similar to this when it's completed. That's how it's going to look. It's all stone. It's very ancient. Our stones are much nicer than those stones. But it's going to look very similar to that. And it'll be able to hold... it's going to hold about, not that many people. You maybe squeeze 25 people in there for a service or something, but it's tight. But it's not really for that. It's for private devotions and small parties to get in and privately devote. And remember, relatives in future years can come over and stay in the priory and pay their respects to your mortal remains that are out in the chapel of the Holy Martyrs. The wall will be dedicated to, in memory of the glorious dead. That's you. If you're a Templar, you're part of the glorious dead because you're already in the battalions of God. So it's all very old school, old fashioned, very old country, European, dark and very serious. But, you know, we're a very serious organisation, and as time goes on, I think everybody's going to have to get serious because things are getting out of hand. Right, I'm going to round up now just with a mad story because, you know, the world is certainly getting crazier by the day. But please get back to me on that and tell me what you think, because I've got to convey that to the head honchos and see what they think. So, good. Now, the Mahatma Gandhi is set to become the first non-white person to be put on British currency. Now, let me just state here, I don't have a problem that he's no white. I don't have a problem with that. Not at all. Here's the problem I've got. He ain't British. He led a rebellion against the British. He kicked us out of India. Rightly so. It's his country, not ours. He was a freedom fighter for India. I'm a big supporter of Mahatma Gandhi. Obviously, you know, there was a lot of trouble. And my family were in India. I lost an uncle up the Khyber Pass, 1936 or 38. And a lot of my family were in the army when we had the Raj. But at the end of the day, India for the Indians. I just wish you'd remember that now and leave Britain. But anyway... I don't care what colour he is. He's not British. He's an Indian. What's he doing in our money? It's utterly ridiculous. So Mahatma Gandhi will be the first non-white person to be on British currency. The Royal Mint Advisory Committee, which recommends themes and designs for coins, has started to work on a coin featuring the Indian independence leader. We used to call him a terrorist. We threw him in jail for being a terrorist. But anyway, now he's I'll be like, what do you call him? Nelson Mandela. You know, he'll be on it. I mean, your man. Black Lives Matter, what do you call that guy? George Floyd, he'll be the next one. He'll be on the British pound. Take the Queen's head off, put George Floyd on it. Let's just be done with it. Let's just go full-blown mental. Put George Floyd on the British money. Take the Queen off. Fed up with it. Gandhi was assassinated 5 months after the end of British rule in August 1947. Chancellor Rishi Sunak. That's our Chancellor, by the way. That's not India's Chancellor. That's the British Chancellor of the Exchequer, the second most powerful man in the British government, Rishi Sunak, who, surprisingly enough, is of Indian origin. Wow, who would have seen that coming? Has offered his support to a campaign to help recognise the efforts of the black and minority ethnic BAME people in shaping modern Britain. How wonderful of him. Yes, Britain's such a terrible racist country that an Indian gentleman like Rishi Sunak can become the second most powerful person in government. Yes, okay. And America's the same. You're so racist you elect a black president. Come on. In a letter to Zahira Zahidi, again, not an Indian, but a former Conservative Party candidate, that's the leading party, who leads the We Too Built Britain campaign. Thank you very much. Mr. Sunak said, black, Asian and other ethnic minority communities have made a profound contribution to the shared history of the UK. Thank you very much, you condescending, sanctimonious Torag. We already know that. I'll tell you who built London, Birmingham and all these other big cities. I'll tell you who built it. The Irish and the Scots who are fleeing from poverty and starvation north of the border and across the Irish Sea. Millions of us poured into England to build the great cities and the great railways and the great palaces and canals. Us, the navies from Scotland and Ireland, we built it. There was no Indian navies. There was no African navies. It was the Irish and the Scots who channeled through mountains and rock faces to build railways and build tubes and build undergrounds and all that. Us, we done it. What praise do we get? Is there a prize for us? Are we going to get our day in the sun? No. But a few folk come and build some tandoori takeaway houses and that's it. We've all got to go bowing and scraping, but not below them. And nothing wrong with it. There's some very good tandoori takeaway houses. But come on. Who built the London Underground? Irish navvies. Who built the great reservoirs and the great engineering feats across the mountains in the north of England and Wales and all these places? Scotsmen, Irishmen, Welshmen, and poor Englishmen coming from the rural areas with no work and hardly any, their stomachs stuck to their backbone. That's who done it. Not Indians, not Africans, us. We done it. People from the British Isles. I'm fed up with it. It's ridiculous. Do you know, and we've got a great tandoori in this town. He's actually been boycotted by Antifa because he spoke out publicly on Facebook about Black Lives Matter. And he says he doesn't support them. And if they're not happy, they should go wherever they want to go, but just get out of our country. And he's a Bangladeshi. And he's been boycotted now by the Antifa contingent in North Down, which is about 3 people. So, who are all vegans anyways. They don't go to his tandoori and eat his delicious tandoori chicken. So there's some good ones in them and all, believe me. But there we go. It's a madness. Well, that's what we've covered today. But I mean, every one of these names I'm reading here from the British government, you know, Rishi Sunak, Zahiri, Zahidi. But what? Unbelievable. It's just ridiculous. And they're saying, oh, we're all supporting this. Supporting it. Don't try and kid us on. It were you guys who pushed it and made it happen. Do you think we're stupid? Do you think we're that stupid? Yous conspired to put Gandhi on our money. No harm to Gandhi. But just as we shouldn't have been in his country, his face shouldn't have been on my money. Simple as that. Fair's fair. You kicked us out of India? Fine. You ain't getting your face in our pound note. I'll tell you whose face should be on the pound note. Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth. That's whose name, that's whose face should be on the pound note. Nobody else, no Gandhi or anybody else. It's ridiculous. You know, we invaded India, but boy, are they paying us back in kind. Whew, I'll tell you. At any one time, there was only about 100,000 British people in the whole of India. There's 100,000 Indian people now in one postcode in London. So, yeah, maybe we need our own Mahatma Gandhi to take our country back. We need a wee man dressed in a bathrobe or a bedsheet to get these people out of our country and hand our country back to us. Just the same as Gandhi rightly kicked the British out of India. Maybe we need somebody like him on our side to do the same in reverse. I hope so. Anyway, that's all from me today. Tomorrow, Mr. Griffin. I was going to do fingers crossed, but we don't do that. We just trust in God. Lord, guide our brother, Mr. Griffin, to get a web camera of sufficient quality that will work on this programme. Lord, hear our prayers. So, until tomorrow, I hope we see Mr. Griffin, but until then, remember what I always tell you. Stick close to God, and you won't go far wrong. Do as vault.